there was news last night. I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. Baylor men's tennis player Luis Jose, aka LJ Nakamine, has committed to Abilene Christian University. I'm going to just go over his background real fast, but I'm going to just say right now, he was a guy that was probably not going to make the singles lineup at Baylor, given what Baylor brought in terms of freshmen, especially Calvin Barrel. He's the number 6 guy, clear and obvious. And that Old Dominion transfer that's signed as well is going to be in the singles lineup. So 1 through 6 is already taken care of. And all this. And Luis Jose Nakamine is 5 inches tall, right-hander, Trujillo, Purdue. I'm going to just go over his background, before he came to Baylor. ITF Juniors career high ranking at 46. He currently ranked number 1 in Peru's under 18 rankings after he captured 2 singles and 8 doubles titles. Made his Grand Slam debut competing in the 2024 Australian Open in the junior boys singles and doubles competition. Holds an overall record in his juniors career, 71 and 41 in doubles and 70 and 58 in singles. But I will say his UTR is 12.05, so it was not going to be high enough. He might have been in the singles line to begin with. And you got to keep in mind, what I'm going to mention is a match against UT Dallas and all this. So he was 4-0. In singles and 3-1 in doubles. Technically, when you look at the stats from last year and all this, and now you don't have any sophomores, and the only underclassmen they have is the 3 freshmen coming in: Calvin Barrel, Drew Hedgecoe, and Blake Anderson. So, and it does decrease the roster to 9. And there, obviously, there is a new rule about the roster limits and all this, and it's a long explanation and question and answer implementation of the House settlement and all this. And I'm just going over one little piece, but this could have been one of those, NCAA issued a waiver for designated student athletes to enter the transfer portal, which started back on July 7th and lasted till August 5th. This could have been the case, or did he enter earlier? I don't know, but point being, it's a guy that was not going to sing the singles lineup anyway. And I'm going to just go over that one little piece right now, and all this. And it's under submission and review of a roster, which I'm going to put where that implementation of the House Summit in the description below, and y'all could read all that. This is under submission and review of a revision of a roster. What's the deadline for men's, women's tennis, men's golf, and women's golf to the caps? Which basically it said they must submit a single roster for the academic year by the end of the calendar day before the first contest or date of competition in the fall semester. So, we know the roster is 10 now with this House settlement and all this, but this is Philip Shane and all this, and y'all can check him out on X, aka Twitter. He was pointed out that you can add players. It appears the question C9 allows you to add players after the deadline. So as long as prior to the deadline you are not the roster limit. So a team could carry 9 players in the fall and can hold a spot for a player to join mid-season. Maybe that's the case. like this is like the question is like for participating institutions, like, may a sport adjust its roster after the deadline? Yes, as long as like provided by bylaws, policies, procedures regarding the roster limits discussed further below. If a sport has now reached a limit, the institution may add student athletes to the roster by adding the student athletes to caps before the sport's next contest. So technically you could still add players in mid-season. You just gotta have the roster space, and now Baylor does. Baylor men's tennis does. That is if they're gonna do that route, because they could also like add a transfer late in all this, or add another freshman right now to get up to, of all this. So still, we're gonna have to wait and see and all this. So this is just a heads up. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 or more. So my mind, this course, like video, comment video really helps YouTube background. Some more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well. Some more people could watch, and if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button. Freak the notification bell as well. And it does make sense for the move here for Luis Jose Nakamine. He was not going to play that much at Baylor anyway, and it's now a three-way competition at number 7. If they don't add anybody else, and that's Drew Hedgecoe, Blake Anderson, and Aman Zamani. And that's assuming there's nobody else going to be leaving. But Aman Zamani is going to have to be a senior next year. Will he want to go outside of Baylor or not? And obviously there's those 2 other freshmen, but they're just enrolling. So we're going to have to wait and see. And I still feel good about the 1 through 6. It's just the number 7 is the question mark in all this. So maybe if they're bringing a guy that's the UTR similar to Connor, then it moves down Calvin to number 7. Or somebody around Calvin or a little bit higher. That's a really a good question on who's number 6 then. So, still, we're at the wait and see.